So, you want to main Doorman. Well, do you like bells? Do you like doors? Do you like carts? Do you like the concept of sending people to the back rooms? And do you like Germa? Then the Doorman of the Baroness, is for you. Doorman is probably one of the coolest characters that has come out of Deadlock. An enigmatic figure that, while possesses just a humble service hand at the Baroness Hotel as a role to observe and serve humanity, rather than slaughter them. While he had only planned to experience life on this plane for a few weeks, the Doorman quickly discovered that the New York service industry was a great way to see the strange demands that please humans. How he finds pleasure in the service industry, I will never understand. Anyone who has worked a service job will quickly understand that to actively enjoy the service industry, you either need to be on drugs or desperate. Or both. While Doorman does fool the average human within the Deadlock universe, when you start to pay more attention to Doorman himself, the more the cracks begin to show within his facade. The robotic movements, uncanny speech patterns, and cryptic nature of what he means by observing people.
So, what's your name?
I am the Doorman.
Well, I know that's your job, but what's your name?
The Doorman.
Well, that's not your name.
It's not, but for my purposes in New York, it helps me stay grounded that I am here to serve and not to rule.
What if I called you Brian?
No.
Which just asks the question, aside observing humans and their interesting needs, what exactly is the Doorman's endgame? That question itself is yet to be answered, or even the reason behind why he's part of the ritual in the first place. The self-described fledgling god has various ways to warp a fight in his favor, from his doors, bells, and luggage carts to the Baroness Hotel itself. Trying to fight the Doorman is akin to fighting someone who isn't really trying, because if he was, he would have erased you from existence already. Where Doorman really shines isn't in his bells, carts, or doors, but his words. With scalpel-like precision shown within his ultimate voice lines, Doorman knows most, if not all, of the other cast members' motivations with an otherworldly knowledge of their past, presence, and future, with an almost frightening accuracy.
Your brother died to save your life, Kaori, and what do you have to show for it? A life of exile in a country full of people that can't be bothered to learn your real name, and an organization that is a shadow of its former glory. Just give up, Kaori. Sorry, I forgot it's Yamato now. Patience! You now find yourself the Alice to my Cheshire Cat. So please, indulge in your personal Lewis Carroll fantasy as long as you wish. Such wonderful sights and experiences await you here at the Baroness. Ivy, you're a good person, and I have no desire to torment you here. Just know this. In 5 years, one of the Arroyos is going to die, and there is nothing you can do to stop it.
Doorman is a compelling character for several reasons, be it his gameplay or his personality. Doorman as a character is someone that, depending on if you are with or against, is your greatest ally or worst enemy. And that translates really well to Doorman in-game. In-game, Doorman is either a spirit damage dealer or a utility roaming support. Granted, you'll be building some semblance of spirit power and range, but aside from that, Doorman's builds are relatively flexible. The only thing you need to do is abandon all self-respect when you pick Doorman, because he's a character that, when played effectively, is fucking annoying. And to some people, incredibly fun. If you like throwing bells at people, sending them into the Baroness, and stunning them against the wall and sending them to some random fuck-ass middle of nowhere. Basically, if you like kidnapping people, the Doorman is for you. So, what exactly does the Doorman do? Well, let's start off from the top and kick things off with his weapon. Doorman's weapon is Service with a Smile, a single-shot pistol that does 29.3 per shot. With an additional 1.1 damage scaling per level, it's serviceable. Pun intended. It's a mid-range menace and is the main way Doorman is going to poke you out of lane, often rushing items such as Headshot Booster, Opening Rounds, or Mystic Shot to apply pressure when needed. One thing that is interesting about Service with a Smile is that it has a piercing bullet effect. At 50% of the damage dealt, you can't really hide behind minions, because if the Doorman wants to poke you out, he'll poke you out. In general, aside from the piercing bullet effect, Doorman's gun is nothing really special to write home about. Its relatively high damage potential of items such as Headshot, Headhunter, or Mystic Shot allows it to be a fairly serviceable weapon in lane. But do not counter out, because when it comes to applying debuffs, such as crippling headshot or spirit rend or stuff that actually will strip you of your defenses, allowing him and his team to kill you, he is very good at doing that. So alongside his weapons, we might as well talk about his skills. Doorman's first skill is Cool Bell. Doorman throws out a bell, Cool Bell that deals spirit damage on impact, and after a short delay it explodes, dealing additional spirit damage, and the bell can be detonated manually by the Doorman, either shooting or melee, and here's some bell math. Cool Bell is pretty much Doorman's bread and butter in lane when it comes comes to poking. You throw a giant-ass bell that hits like a truck and it hurts. Paired with extra charge and mystic burst, you have yourself a fairly consistent way to rip through people's health bars in lane, with a respectable chunk of damage too. At the higher tiers, it just gets more damage, more range, more radius, you know, usual suspects. Tier 1 cool bell, with a little bit of extra charge, you'll be eating bells quite a bit, or you'll be throwing up bells quite a bit. There's a reason why Doorman is an exceptionally good poker in lane. For Doorman's second skill, it's called Doorway. Yeah, a lot of doors, bells, and carts in this one, just bear with me here. The Doorman can place 2 connected doors within the world. Players and most projectiles can be shot through one door and exit out the other. The doors automatically close after a set duration, and here's some door math. Doorway is honestly possibly the best ability in this game. It's up there. Simply for its utility and rotational purposes alone, it is up there as one of the best abilities in the game. Set down an escape door, head into a fight. Things get too dicey, just open this door and get a portal out. Need a good rotational door to help someone get bridge buffs or quickly have a team-wide rotation from mid-boss to a push? The door. Need to somehow bait the enemy into your team? The door. Need to kidnap someone into the walker? The door. You see where this is going. Doorman is so difficult to fight, especially a good Doorman. If they know their range placements and they know their door placements, you will have a rough time chasing a Doorman. And at that point, it's like chasing a Singed in League. Why would you chase a Doorman? Just why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? Doorman's third skill is called Luggage Cart. The Doorman sends out a luggage cart that deals spirit damage and pulls in enemy heroes along its passage. It can be alternately classed to carry allies along its path, and here's some card math. Luggage Cart is a really funny ability. Enemy team trying to bully you? Throw them through a door into a walker stun and watch them panic. Need to help get your teammates out? Luggage Cart, rescue beam. Need to somehow wall stun someone 7 different times and hit them with 3 bells? Luggage Cart. Luggage Cart is a silly ability, even though if you're anything like me, you'll never hit anything. You either hit a god tier luggage cart or you miss them all the time, but when they do hit and when you do get that stun, it is brilliant. One of the really consistent ways to pairing luggage cart is pairing it with your ult. Speaking of which, Doorman's ultimate is Hotel Guest. The Doorman sends the target this ability to the Baroness Hotel as a guest. 5-star amenities, a spa, maybe the Viscous Cube if you are feeling really up to it, a massage, bed and breakfast, room service. Jokes aside, after the stay is done, the guest is to promptly make their way to the exit elevator in a miniature parkour course. Failure to do so will result in a checkout failure, dealing heavy spirit damage, and here's some Trivago math. Doorman's ultimate is one of the most annoying ultimates in this whole game. Taking a single key figure out of a fight and allowing your team to surround them like a pack of rabid dogs is akin to getting jumped in a back alley while visiting Detroit. The ultimate damage can of course be mitigated by various effects such as invulnerabilities and counterspell, but it will still trigger the effects of checkout failure, and so you will be stunned on exit alongside the Doorman getting reduced cooldown on his ultimate if it's tier 3. Most Doormans, if this doesn't surprise anyone, will normally rush tier 3 ultimate if they want to guarantee checkout failures. So genuinely try your best to escape from this ultimate. You don't want to get stuck in a loop of getting hit by this thing several times, believe me. And to all the frontline players out there that get hit by this, I feel for you. I once played a Street Brawl game with Billy. I got Doorman ulted 17 times in a single Street Brawl game. Every time I wanted to fight, welcome to the Baroness. Anytime I want to do something, welcome to the Baroness. Anytime I want to do something, checking in. Germa. Why are you like this, Germa? Why don't we just talk about his builds, yeah? Why don't we talk about his builds? Doorman's builds vary from game to game, but there is one thing that will be a constant in your builds: extra charges and range. Something that will always be a core, fundamental part of your builds. Extra charges allow you to throw out more bells and all around be more of an aggro player. Range just affects everything you do, and to be honest, trying to ult someone with no range on Doorman is a bad experience all around. Not only does it help with door placements, it helps with carting range, it helps with bell size, it helps with the Baroness cast size. Genuinely, you'd want to fundamentally prioritize most of the really strong ranged items in the shop for maximum effectiveness. For gun, you'll be building things such as Headhunter, Mystic Shot, Opening Rounds, Recharging Rush, Ballistic Enchantment, and active items such as Alchemical Fire or Heroic Aura if you're going to head into the hardcore support Doorman playstyle. You can sort of see the similarities where characters with not great guns will spec into stuff such as debuffing, like the headshot items or stuff like that, really. You'll be building quite similarly to early game Lash when it comes to gun. For green, you're building counter defense like everyone else, but you'll most likely be specking to more of the support greens like Guardian Ward and Divine Barrier, Rescue Beam, Healing Right, Warp Stone, and if you're playing hardcore roaming support Doorman, you'd want to pick up a Trophy Collector. Trophy Collector nowadays is incredibly strong, and that's because it was made a tier 2. It's decent roaming speed. When you get it stacked, you have good speed, good soul gen, it's some decent range, but to be honest, it's negligible. And any of the items in the Juggernaut item tree, you know, Enduring Speed, Sprint Boots, Juggernaut itself, Stealth. Reactive and its bigger brother, Indomitable. Cheat Death, because a Doorman wants to stay in a fight as long as possible to keep his team alive. Some stamina if you feel like you are being slow. Your usual resiliences, and of course some HP like Fortitude. For Spirit, you've got options. Most of Doorman's stuff scales off of Spirit, if not everything he does scales off of Spirit. And most of these are really good. Extra Charge, Rapid Recharge are of course bread and butter for Doorman, for having a healthy uptime on DPS if you're running Bell Doorman. Greater expansion for its ability range and the little bit of Spirit resistance that it gives. Any cooldown items such as Superior, or if you have multiple actives, Transcendent for the more active uptime. Sliding Hacks, Vortex Web to almost confirm a checkout failure if you're going for Alt Doorman, or you're running things such as Alchemical Fire and debuffing items like Vulnerability, Escalating Exposure, Suppressor, Mystic Slow, Bullet Resist Shredder. Anything that you can make use of, you can use. Doorman is incredibly flexible in the Spirit department. And if you're going more of a hardcore Spirit nuke build, then you'd build the usual suspects of Boundless Spirit, Mystic Reverb, Spirit Burn, and Tank Buster. You're a little bit squishier running this, but you do a hell of a lot more AoE damage when you pair this with tier 3 bells. Of course, all of these things can vary from player to player and match to match, so try out what works for you and see where you can go with the funny German man. If you actually want to see the good builds for reference regarding on what to play, you can always just look at Deathy's tier list. Glazing Deathy here, very, very good resource to have on hand. It's helped me figure out how to play certain characters that I've been trying out myself. Silver being one of them, and, well, there's some help from Sorel, who's pointing me out to the Lightbringers builds. And it usually has some pretty good stuff over there, and links to a couple builds that I find to be relatively fun to use. Considering I'm a brain-dead Oracle player that somehow got here through elo inflation and brain-dead Wraith spamming, I have no respect for myself. All in all, Doorman is a compelling character, fun to play, and limited only to your creativity when it comes to using the doors themselves. If you're going to play a character where it feels like you are doing stuff, but not being the main character, sort of hardcore carry, play the Doorman. Send people to the Baroness, and watch them cry. I think, however, that'll be it from me regarding all of my rambling about something Deadlock related. If you want me to continue making these things, be sure to leave a like, leave some feedback below, if I've missed anything, of course. And if you like the video, be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel, as it does help out, and, you know, it gets me the old boost in the algorithm. Anyway, I'm going back to spam pinging Axel about playing Deadlock, so I am signing off. It's been Azura. See ya, goobers.